This is your Adventist News, a service of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. I'm Kenesha Sims. In this week's broadcast, leaders are trained to teach children with intellectual differences, and women are spiritually uplifted on the Family Island. These stories and more on this week's Adventist News. We continue our recognition of Autism Awareness Month with our first story from the Children and Adolescents Ministries Department, CHAM. On March 29, 2025, the Children and Adolescents Ministries Department of the South Bahamas Conference hosted a leadership training at the Johnson Park Church for CHAM leaders. The event focused on the topic, how to teach children with ADHD, autism, and other intellectual disabilities. The training featured a panel of presenters, including special education doctoral student Viola Stewart, clinical psychologist Luz Anguilla, and a doctor of applied behavior analysis, Arthur Anguilla. Viola Stewart, an educator with first-hand experience, shared her journey, including the challenges and joys of raising a child with autism. She urged the audience to be patient and understanding and to incorporate various strategies in teaching children with special needs. Pastor Anguilla discussed behavior and its underlying causes, noting that children's behavior patterns can be influenced by many factors, including the mother's condition during pregnancy. Mistress Anguilla explained how the brains of individuals with ADHD and autism function. She shared how they process information differently, helping participants understand the ways these children interact with the world around them. The training was just the first part of a two-part series, with part 2 scheduled for May 3rd at the New Providence Church beginning at 5 p.m. During the next session, attendees will receive practical applications focused on how to effectively interact and engage with children and adolescents with ADHD, autism, and other intellectual disabilities. More than 86 women, along with 13 men and numerous children, gathered for the Women's Ministries Weekend of Revival in South Andros from March 28 through 29th. The services began on Friday evening at the New Macedonia Temple. Sister Darlene DeVoe, coordinator of the Shepherdess Group and member of the Women's Ministries Council, delivered a spiritually informative sermon entitled Discovering God's Purpose for Your Life. DeVoe encouraged those present to allow the Lord to lead our lives. Sabbath morning service opened to a filled church where more than 130 persons gathered for the continuation of the weekend. As a part of this special weekend, 21 gems were inducted and introduced to the great district of South Andros and Mangrove Key. Guest speaker Carla Rogers, Women's Ministries leader, presented on the topic, The Power of a Purposeful Woman. In her sermon, Rogers admonished the older members to protect the youth by becoming spiritual mentors and encouraging youth to lead in the churches. The women returned to church Sabbath afternoon, where the final speaker, Andrea Linden, spoke on the thought-provoking yet cheerful health talk entitled Mental Health and Menopause in Women. The weekend concluded with a district social with church members, out-of-town guests, and visitors who enjoyed a spirit-filled fellowship. The weekend was a time filled with love, encouragement, and personal growth in Christ. The New Providence Seventh-day Adventist Church held a week-long series from March 23 to 29th, focusing on the sanctuary. The speaker for the series was host Pastor Casilda Bennett, who emphasized the sanctuary's significance for spiritual growth, sacrifice, and the relationship between God and humanity.
In the sanctuary system, every person who comes to the sanctuary comes with the mind prepared to sacrifice. Should I say that every one of us have something we need to sacrifice? And we should be reminded every time we come in before the Lord, God, help me to make my sacrifice. What Paul says? That you present your body as a what? Living and what? And holy. And acceptable.
The series concluded on Sabbath morning, where Pastor Bennett focused on the importance of spiritual cleansing through the symbolism of the sanctuary and the duties of the priest. He reminded the congregation that Jesus is the high priest who is interceding on our behalf. The series was thought-provoking and left those present with a deeper understanding of faith through the sanctuary message. When we return, we'll have more on what's coming up in the South Bahamas Conference.
Mark your calendars for the South Bahamas Conference Mission Refocus Weekend from April 19th to the 20th. Get prepared for a powerful and inspiring weekend you don't want to miss. We are thrilled to welcome Dr. Ayrton Kohler of the General Conference and Dr. Leonard Johnson of the Inter-American Division, who will be joining us for this transformative event. They will share powerful sessions on mission and the vision of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Joint services will be held on April 19 from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and April 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Hillview Adventist Church. Come ready to be energized for the mission that lies ahead. We look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back to our Adventist News, and coming up at the South Bahamas Conference. During April, the Youth Ministries Department of the South Bahamas Conference is inviting everyone to the One Mission, One Family Health Challenge. The health trainings will be held every Tuesday evening at 6:30 on Zoom, while the fitness training will be held on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. at Goodman's Bay Beach. All are invited to worship with the Adventist Educators Association for a special service at the Maranatha Church on Sabbath, April 12th. During the service, the board members will be pinned as they begin their duties to lead the organization. The South Bahamas Conference Sabbath School Department will be hosting a chat and chew on Sunday, April 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the New Providence Church. During the chat and chew, there will be a training for Sabbath school superintendents and secretaries. Join Trinity Church for their Singspiration Sabbath service this Sabbath, April 12th, on Penny Savings Bank Lane off Wolf Road. The theme for the day is the 7 Life Lessons from the Cross and will feature numerous guest artists with host Kenesha Sims and presenter Elder Roger Roll. Members of the Hillview Church are celebrating its 36th anniversary under the theme From Foundation to Future. The celebratory services will begin on April 11th at 7 p.m. with speaker Pastor Melvin Lewis. On April 12th, all are invited to worship with the members and speaker Pastor Peter Joseph. There will also be a special social at 7:45 p.m. The anniversary celebrations continue April 15th at 7 p.m. with Pastor Kent Price and will conclude on April 15th at 7 p.m. with Pastor Michael Smith. The Men's Ministries Department of the conference will host a men's mental health presentation on Sunday, April 13th at 6 p.m. at Johnson Park Church. The guest speaker will be Dr. Sean Knowles. Mission Refocus Weekend will be held on April 19th and 20th with Dr. Ayrton Kohler and Dr. Leonard Johnson, leaders from the General Conference and the Inter-American Division. Joint services will be held on April 19th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and April 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Hillview Church. During the weekend, an honoring ceremony will be held for some of the diligent members of our conference. CHAM is organizing an outdoor challenge day for our conference's adolescents on April 27th at Goodman's Bay Beach. Parents and adolescents ages 10 through 15 will navigate 10 exciting checkpoints filled with physical challenges and clues to the finish line. All are invited to attend SBC Music Ministries Hymn Festival on Sabbath, April 26, 2025, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Hillview Church on Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. The event will feature performances by the Creole churches, Adventist men, children's choir, Meister singers, and choirs from the eastern and western regions of churches. We look forward to an evening of uplifting music as we reacquaint ourselves with the hymns of the church. Under the theme, He Died in My Place, the Centerville Seventh-day Adventist Church will host its Easter program during the Divine Hour on Sabbath, April 19th, 2025 at 11 a.m. All are invited to attend and to be richly blessed by the extraordinary singing of soprano soloists Miss Marissa Green and Mistress Paula Musgrove Bain. Guest organist and pianist will be Mr. Benjamin Davis and Mistress Lynn Smith. Celebrate with us as we journey with Christ on the road to the cross. Relive with tears his crucifixion, with sadness see him buried, and rejoice in his glorious resurrection. The men's department of the Grantstown Church is planning a special Mother's Day cruise on Sunday, May 18th, 2025 to Andros. All interested mothers from the conference are invited to attend. Individuals can contact the church's men's department at 557-0659 for more information. Feel free to visit the South Bahamas Conference website at southbahamasconference.org to receive more information on all our upcoming conference events. There, you can also view a rebroadcast of our Adventist News Update along with local programming from our cable channel ATV 658 and read the weekly logos and the Adventist page from the Nassau Guardian.
Dengue fever is a mosquito-borne disease. Mosquitoes usually spread the disease in tropical and subtropical areas such as the Bahamas. Dengue fever is spread when the Aedes mosquito is infected with the virus. When that mosquito bites a person, the virus is then transferred to that individual's blood. It can only be spread by the bite of a female mosquito, and it cannot be spread directly from one person to another. After 4 days from being infected, the symptoms begin and can last up to 10 days. These symptoms can include fatigue, nausea, severe joint pain, sudden high fever, severe headaches, and pain behind the eyes. If you are experiencing like symptoms, make sure to drink lots of water and see your doctor. To lessen your chances of being bitten when indoors, if available, use air conditioning. Mosquitoes hate the cold weather. Also, try applying mosquito repellent, wearing long sleeves and long pants, and use mosquito nets while sleeping. Make sure that all screens are secure and free from holes. Mosquitoes lay eggs in stagnant still waters, so to prevent them from bleeding outdoors, make certain that all containers such as buckets and tubs are not capturing water. Keep in mind that items such as tires and blocked gutters can likewise collect water. By using certain plants like peppermint and garlic in your yard, you can help to repel mosquitoes.
Let's go now to the Adventist News Network with our news feature from around the world.
Today we begin with the powerful story of faith, unity, and the fight for justice. In Lubango, Angola, thousands of Adventist women united to march against violence, standing up for the values taught in the Bible. Inspired by the love of Christ, these women mobilized to demand more safety and justice in their communities.
Lubango, the capital of the Huila province, was the scene of the largest civic women's march in the city's history. Around 3,000 Seventh-day Adventist women took to the streets in a protest against gender-based violence. The march covered 10 kilometers through the city streets. With posters, banners, and floats, they peacefully fought for justice and an end to violence against women and children.
Well, that's it for our Adventist news from the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. To share what's happening at your church, please email your news, stories, and upcoming events to sbcadventistnews@gmail.com. To view a rebroadcast of the Adventist news along with other programming and to keep in touch with what's happening at our conference, visit our website at southbahamasconference.org. The SBC Media Network's Facebook and Instagram pages are filled with lots of material from the Communications Department, so you would want to check them out. And remember to subscribe, like, follow, and to share. You can watch and listen to programs from our radio station, Word SBC 88.3 FM, and our Adventist television channel, ATV 658. Get updates, insights, and first-hand information from the SBC Media Network as it happens. The programming from ATV 658 can also be viewed on the South Bahamas Conference YouTube channel. So feel free to watch a recap of our Adventist news. On behalf of our production team, it was our pleasure to bring you tonight's news update. I'm Kenesha Sims for the SBC Media Network. Have a happy Sabbath.